I was scammed out of $2,500 by an artist named Artlanta.
He really took advantage of a lot of people.
It's fake, he's a liar. Artlanta is a scammer.
I never exhibited at Art Basel and I lost $3,400.
Giving me unsolicited information, things that he likes in a woman.
Purchased a course halfway through the class and he disappears. He sold us snake oil.
While I was sharing some of my work, he started making inappropriate comments about my feet.
He tried to ask for feet pics.
He's gonna get caught. Karma's gonna come catch you.
Hi, welcome to my channel. This may be the only video that I ever make. I don't know, I'm not a YouTuber, but I am here to talk about something. Let's get into it. My name is Ash Lethal. I am a professional artist and graphic designer. I've been full-time since 2007. I've done hundreds of gallery events. I have participated in live events. I've painted murals. I've worked in the music industry, made album covers for musicians like John Bellion and the Spill Canvas. This video really isn't about me. I'm just kind of setting a foundation so that you could maybe consider my opinion. This is all just opinions. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a doctor. I'm just here talking about my opinions. Back in October, I got a message from an artist named Artlanta. I did not know who this person was, not interested in participating in any of his events. He just reached out to me and gave me this copy and paste pitch about being involved in his Art Basel event. He wanted me to pay $2,500. So immediately I knew this was a scam. I replied with a laughing face emoji. I asked him for an interview. He didn't respond, so I started looking into him, and there really was not anywhere he existed on the internet other than his own social media. Red flag number one. I managed to find some flyers from past events which had all of the artist names listed. I started reaching out to those people. I'm here to give those people a voice. I'm also here to talk about the whole smoke and mirrors show. First, what I want to get into, who is Artlanta?
I'm not even an artist.
According to Google, you just ask, who is Artlanta the artist? Well, there's not very many sources. TheFoxMagazine.com has an article about him. Its headline is Artlanta's Journey, how he is empowering himself and artists everywhere through art piece, claiming that he is a multi-dimensional creative artist, painter, musician, known for painting exotic luxury cars. Painted his first car in 2020. Born Lawal Izuagbe.
Don't be intimidated because you don't know how to wear a scarf.
To Nigerian immigrant parents. Grew up in foster care, he claims. He never went to art school or had an art class, but he was always just had that gift inside of him, his words. Was a high school dropout at 18. He says he could have graduated. He didn't want to do that. He moved out to Los Angeles. He was making music with his friends in garages, and he was homeless. The first couple years of living in LA were really rough for him. He didn't know anybody. The dream, you know, go to LA. Sold his first painting at 24 for $200. And after that, sold another painting for $48,000. He's now living in Miami. He claims it's home to numerous world-class museums, galleries, and art fairs, all of which we've never been able to find him in. Artlanta talks about his latest venture he calls Art Beast. He likens it to an art label for artists. He says that no one's doing that in the industry. Maybe he's never heard of gallery representation or art agents. I'm not sure. Inspiration behind Art Beast, it came from him not having anyone in the art game to help him out. So he wanted to create a platform to elevate and help other artists like him. The event brings large and small brands, musical acts, and artists all together in one place. Art Beast is an art label that signs artists and creates brand awareness for them. It gives them publicities and opportunities. He made music in a duo called Wave Pop. Amassed over 20 million streams with no label support, supposedly. They would also make music outside of YouTube and release it on SoundCloud and Spotify. Innovative. They were known for their catchy melodies and infectious energy. From humble beginnings to international recognition, Artlanta is an inspiration. He's building the label and some other stuff that he can't talk about yet. Very exciting. I was able to find a second article, gogreenwood.com, actually a podcast called Money Moves, powered by Greenwood. We'll quote some of what they said. Artlanta is an upcoming artist who managed to find financial success by turning his art into NFTs. He's making NFTs too. At 24, he sold his first art piece for $200. A year later, he sold his first NFT for $100,000. Wow. Wow. That's kind of it. As far as the internet goes, there's really nothing that exists besides these couple of articles. What we're getting here is a social media influencer claiming to be an artist. There's not really any presence outside of that Instagram. The reason that it's so crazy is because his Instagram has 1.2 million followers. How does someone on Instagram have over 1 million followers but no presence online? When you peruse through his social media, here is an artist that was struggling, believing in himself, and one day he had that successful day and he just happened to make it. How does this make sense?
I am bigger than Art Basel.
What makes these claims important, he uses these to persuade people, convince people of the value, which is what makes it easier for him to get money from his victims. He posted about how he bought his mom a car in her dream house. It had always been one of his dreams, and he made that come true. He also claims to have bought multiple other properties. A penthouse that he lived in Miami, the most recent house that he lived in. And if you know where to look these things up in public record, he never bought those houses. He rented them. Here's a video regarding his Art Beast event.
Art Basel Experience. If you're not familiar with Artlanta, he's an artist based out of Miami, known for his unique splatter on exotic cars and luxury vehicles. During Artlanta's Art Basel Experience, he sold over 3,000 tickets and made roughly over $1 million in one night.
He's claiming here that he made $1 million in one night off of this event. He took investments from people and he took money from the artists who participated in these events, and they were told that no money was made. Did you make $1 million or did you not? Another video posted to his TikTok with the caption, "Imagine getting 7 figures just to throw paint on cars." He's claiming himself that he's getting 7 figures. When he invites an artist to collaborate, this is what his video pitch looks like.
More spots left for dope, amazing artists to collab with me. So if you are an amazing artist, send me a message to submit your work in my DMs right now. And if you know any other dope artists, share this video with them or tag them under this post.
Not only surfing for artists in general, but encouraging people to reach out and send this out to their friends.
And we're going to get it going crazy. I'm going to do the collab. We're going to post it on my Instagram. I'm going to share it with all my friends and we're going to sell it. And I want to help other artists come up, all the upcoming artists. If you are an artist or if you know any artists, tag them, share this video with them. Let's get it going crazy. Only 5 more spots left.
This is a screenshot of one of Artlanta's mentorships that he hosts on a site called WAP. The title of it is Starving Artist to Millionaire Painter. Artlanta, the millionaire painter that came from $0 to becoming a millionaire selling art using his formula and technique. Join now to change your life. That is an online course called Blueprint. It is $99, pay once. It's $99 now, but there are people that I spoke to that paid $1,000. Essentially a curriculum of voice notes, 8 to 12 minutes in length, taught information that was of no value, like how to get celebrity clients by being where they are. The Dallas Observer wrote an article about him titled "Historic Trump Painting Could Fetch Over $5 Million at Auction," August 5th, 2024. He's obviously real and successful. All of these people are writing about him.
What's the coolest thing you've done in the last 12 months?
In 2021, I only sold $500 worth of art. 2022, I sold $2 million.
How much do you sell your average painting for?
For $10,000, ranges up to $200,000.
What's your clientele mostly?
Celebrities. I got DJ Khaled, Drake, Kim Kardashian. I painted all of 6ix9ine's cars.
What did you do before you started art?
I did music. Decided one day I woke up and I'm gonna paint and go and paint on cars. Now I have over $5 million worth of cars that I have my art on.
What are you working on now?
I'm meeting up with the president of Lamborghini in Dubai and we're gonna go do a whole live show. It's about to be a f***ing movie. Self-portrait. This one right here is going for $1 million. The Scarface over here, man, this one's going for $100K. These are custom made by me. These alone go for $75K. Got the almighty Michael Jackson, bad, $300K. Crushed up diamonds, took me like 8 hours.
8 hours for $300K? How do I take classes?
I'm doing classes, $1 million an hour.
It's easy to convince people to give you money when you are able to make it look like online, maybe even in real life, you are rich, you're hanging out with a lot of people, you're buying luxury items, you're buying houses, claiming to give people mentorship and teach them how to do what you're doing. If it looks like national media outlets are writing articles about you, that helps make you look credible. If you flash DMs that make it look like you are talking directly to people like Kim Kardashian and Louis Vuitton, making it look like you have celebrity clients, helps people fall for the scam. They're not always what you think they are or what he wants you to think they are.
Cutting everybody off a piece. Different artists put them on, give them exposure.
Let's start with Art Beast. I'm looking at the flyer for what appears to be the first Art Beast event. It says Art Beast by Artlanta featuring, and then it lists about 11 different artists. December 3rd, 2022, 6 p.m. to midnight. Second flyer for Art Beast the following year, it says Art Beast Miami featuring, and it lists 36 different artists. Saturday, December 9th, doors open at 6 p.m. Third flyer for Art Beast the year after that, there were different versions of this flyer floating around, like I assume there were in previous years. This started out with a smaller number of artists, and then as the flyers continued to come out and be revised, there ended up being more names on them. I'm now referring to the one that Artlanta posted himself. And this one says Art Basel presents Art Beast Miami by Artlanta featuring. And then this one lists about 41 different artists. 12/7/2024 from 6 p.m. to midnight again. These flyers were not easy to find, and I really had to look for these to find out which artists had participated. There are videos, there is content. He's posting constantly asking for artists to participate, to contact him directly. Another one of his opportunities in relation to artists specifically would be his collaborations. Artlanta will often post on his stories and on his social media feeds looking for artists to collaborate with. He offers this up as an opportunity for you as an artist to collaborate on a piece of art with him. Collaborations are a really common thing in the art industry. We often do collaborate. On Instagram, there's even an entire page dedicated just to this that Artlanta has. It's a side page that most people don't really know about, and it's called Artlanta Collabs, and it has just over 6,000 followers. Another one of Artlanta's opportunities. There's different courses and mentorships, which he hosts on different platforms like School and WAP. He also does private mentorships. He'll name an amount and you can be mentored by him. It can range from a couple $100 to $1,000, basically teaching you how to do the things that he's doing. This is kind of where I was at. I did a little bit of surface level research and then I started talking to people.
It's just people that ain't got nothing else to do.
I have actually spoken to hundreds of artists, models, designers, victims, people that had given Artlanta money for one opportunity or another. The majority of these people did not have a good experience. It doesn't really matter what they paid for. I started with the Art Beast flyers and the Artlanta Collabs Instagram, and I started reaching out to artists. It wasn't good. And I'm going to go through my Instagram DM. I just sent a picture of the flyer and I said, hey, how'd you like this event? Did you sell anything? And this person said, hey, yep, I sold one piece. I sold it. They didn't have staff. Are you thinking about doing it this year? And I replied, definitely not. I said, good for you. That's awesome. At least you sold something. This person replied, yes, it was a mess. No promotions or anything. The show was in Little Haiti, not even in Wynwood. They got lucky and sold a piece to the owner of the venue. I warned 3 people so far not to do it. Definitely felt scammed. I don't mind sharing my experiences with the Art Beast show. Artist number 2 participated in the event. They can say it was not well organized, but in their case, they didn't pay for anything up front. Our agreement was by commission if we sell pieces. That's really as much as they wanted to tell me. They did say that it was not well organized, but they didn't have to pay for anything. Artist number 3. I said, I wanted to ask you about an event I think you might have participated in. Would you do it again? Did you sell your pieces? Thank you so much. And this person said, no, I would not do it. Nobody sells there. It's more of a party. Artist number 4 said his event is okay. I sold a couple pieces there, but he invited too many artists, in my opinion. I would never do it again. And if he's charging you, definitely not worth it. It's a lot just for Instagram and shit. It makes it all about him. I just wouldn't do it again. I did it 2 years ago and I won't do it again. Simple. Also told me that they did not have to pay. Artist number 5. I sent this person a flyer and asked how this event went. They said, it's what you make it. My advice is treat it like you grab your spot and you are 100% responsible for your own setup, so be prepared. Bring a ring light and extension cord for your work. And I said, that sounds bad, but it's like you're trying to be nice, but I appreciate the reply. Recommended that I ask a few more artists and they were sorry they were not very helpful. Artist number 6. I sent a flyer and I said, did you participate in this event? And they said, yes, I did. And I said, would you recommend it or do it again? It's not really worth it if you want the exposure, I guess. I only paid $1,200 and glad I did. It was not organized at all. This person's saying they're happy they only paid $1,200 because most people paid double or more than that. It's almost like they use the money to rent the space for their big event the night before and they let us have it the night after. We had to clean up, not cool. I hope they get it better organized this year. Artist number 7. Myself and almost every other artist were very unimpressed and underwhelmed with the event. It had cost $2,500 to show there, and Artlanta had unfortunately not promoted it very much, and it ended up only promoting his event, which was the night before. Nobody sold, and everybody went home at a loss. The crowd that came and saw the event were mainly artists, not buyers. But moral of the story, and I'm not like talking shit, but what happened was he started with 10 spots for the artist for the show. Then when he filled that, he realized he could make more money. Then he opened up 10 more spots. And then it was so diluted with artists, some really amateur ones, he let anybody in that would pay basically. Like I, for example, will not be doing it ever again. Artist number 8 sent me a bunch of voice DMs. What I did was transcribe that and I will read that. My experience last year with Art Beast wasn't what I thought it was going to be. It was more of his venue was the night before. It was promoted, but our event wasn't. Maybe this year, because it's going to be in the same venue, the same night, it might be better. But ours was more like people just coming out, looking at it. It wasn't our collectors or anything like that. So I'm not sure how it would be, but I wouldn't do it again because it wasn't what I thought Art Basel is. Art Basel is art collectors, not just a gallery type people looking at art. So that's my take on it. He didn't promote the second show. He promoted the show the night before. It's definitely a scam because we're paying for his venue and they don't understand. And I don't know why is everyone drinking that Jim's Jones juice of him saying he's the best artist out there. That is not the way our industry is supposed to be. And like I said, I'll never do it again. He's not going to do what he's promising you. He's always trying to do collaborations with people because he is charging you for everything. And social media is such a craziness. People on social media think he's like the art god. He is just trying to look up for himself. We do work hard. And for that false promise to get down there and think that we're going to, I did so much, 7 big pieces, and just to turn around and have to bring them all back home for him. And he just showed up that night, walked around for about 30 minutes and left. No kind of love. So yes, get it out there. And thank you for sticking up for others because this is not just a hobby. This is, most of our livelihoods. So for someone to take advantage of that, yes, let it be known. Thank you so much. Number 9, I didn't end up going. I live on the opposite coast, so the logistics were a little dramatic. But I did see the footage from after the event and it looked super hectic. Not enough space for the artist and really more of a money grab that was driven towards having the spotlight on him rather than the artist he was representing. I did have a funky hiccup with him that kind of bugged me a bit. I paid to be on his art label, which would allow me to display at all of his art shows, give me access to his clients, and receive social media shout-outs, none of which came to fruition. And when I reached out about the money, he either gave me a shitty answer or he did not respond. Sorry for the book. I just thought I'd give a thorough answer. It's horrible to hear that other artists had a similar encounter, but unfortunately, I can imagine that would be the case because he is constantly posting stuff about new opportunities that just seem too good to be true. Collabs where he just throws paint splatters on someone's 100+ hour paintings and new slots opening up weekly for his art show and mentorships, etc., all of which have a tremendous possibility of scam behavior. Don't get me wrong, he could have good intentions. Maybe he's just so busy that communication's difficult. And because I'm on the opposite side of the states and I haven't met him firsthand, I don't really know how he does business or whether or not he's actually genuine. Just hard to not pass judgment based on my personal experiences. Number 10. Hey, I recently sent $1,000 to Artlanta for a collab, but now I'm getting a lot of people telling me it's a scam. And everyone is saying they haven't gotten their money back. I haven't even sent the piece. This sucks. Artist number 11. I sent them the flyer and I said, hey, are you the same person that participated in this event? How did it go? Said, didn't go well as per the comment, because this person had publicly made a comment that had since vanished. He probably deleted it, the comment, and just overall, he marketed the fact that he'd have a big event with thousands of people and painting a celebrity's car. So that's what I thought I had paid for. It ended up being the day after and had a very small turnout, and the event was just terribly set up. 100% this guy needs to be stopped. It's number 12. This person I reached out to and said, hey, how was this event? Are you going to do it again? Thanks. And this person said, hey, I honestly don't think I will next year. It was honestly very unorganized and very unprofessional, so I didn't love it. Then we hopped on a call and we chatted. Number 13 sent me a bunch of voice memos, so I transcribed those and I'll read a little bit of that. I'm sure that he did his event. His big event was the night before and none of our stuff was up, so I feel like most of the people came to the first night for his thing, and then the next night was our thing, and my stuff, they put it up very last. It was like my dad literally had to set up the whole thing for me. Like, they didn't help at all. They didn't have enough space for everybody. They didn't have the right tools. I was there all day and they were telling me I couldn't leave to go home to change before the big event. And I'm like, bro, like, thank goodness my dad was there, because I wanted to like get ready and stuff, but it was just super chaotic. And yeah, he told me at first, because we knew each other, that it was going to be $1,500. And then later on, he was like, yeah, no, it's $2,500. So honestly, I do think it's kind of a scam. It was super unorganized. It's like an art show that a high schooler put on. Like, the energy wasn't there and it was makeshift art setups. Like, some people had some cool displays, but they had to do everything themselves. Like, the things that they provided to us were not professional at all. Artist 14 reached out to me through another artist. They said, I really appreciate it. At first, I wasn't aware of the scamming that people had experienced. Now that I've heard rumblings, I'm worried that the show in December may not be what I'm expecting. He said it's combined, and I see that as a way to cover up the fact that our show is canceled. Terrible. So I won't be going, of course, huge bummer, but rather know now. I can only at least be grateful for the conversations I've had the last week or so that led me to these answers and clarity. Thank you for your openness and everything you shared. I appreciate you. So this person is one of many who, for whatever legitimate reason they had to back out of the event, they backed out before going, but they had already paid. Artist 15. I sent them a flyer and I said, hey, did you like this event? Was it worth the money? And they replied, no, it wasn't, if I'm being honest. So many reasons why, but the main reason is he didn't have a team to help us set up our artwork, and the freestanding walls that he brought in for artists to set up was also makeshift ASF and made last minute. I honestly feel like it was just a cash grab. I wasted a lot of money. I also seen a few other artists sell their artwork that day. I didn't, because I only had 2 pieces and my pieces took a very long time to make. If I'm ever going to do Art Basel again, I need to be invited by a space the right way. I definitely felt like a scam because I paid $2,500 to be in the show. I didn't sell anything. I wouldn't do it again. And honestly, considering taking everything regarding him off of my page, you're better off throwing your own show with that money. The reason I got into the show was because I was friends with his brother at the time, got to experience him and different settings outside of this particular situation, and the way he treats women and his staff and just his overall way about life is really also a legit scammer, I swear to God. I'm here if you want a written statement signed and dated by me. You can use it however you like. I would like to stay anonymous if possible, but I think what you're doing is honorable. I feel like artists deserve to feel like their voices will be heard, if not through their art, through their actual voices. And if there was something that I could have saw or read or knew beforehand, before giving all my money and time and effort into his shitty, shoddy show, it would have really saved me a lot of time and money. Also, I don't have any proof of this, but I honestly feel like he is a type to where he could be laundering money for sure. And I say that because when I attended his black and white party, it just felt like something was off. Alleged, but these are what people are actually experiencing of him and the people around him. Artist 16. I reached out and said, "Hi, did you show work this year at Arby's? Thanks." And she said, "Hello, and no, I didn't. I got a refund." She had a friend who also was involved in this same event, and her friend was also able to get a refund, but not through Artlanta. She goes on to say, at least with me, he knew that I was a force to be reckoned with, so he didn't try to contest the refund, but he did try to contest her friend's refund. She goes on to say, everything I've seen so far has been truly traumatizing. Artist 17. I reached out and said, "Hey, let's talk about Arby's. Tell me how it went." And this person said, "He was a scammer. Same thing to everyone else. Breached our contract, changed the date, time, and location, said he would refund me after the event. Never got anything back, so I contacted the fraud department of Chase, and they are all over it. He turned the comments off. He's trying to scam as many people as he can. I can absolutely tell you my story. I just don't really want any screenshots published. 100% he needs to be called out and put in jail. He's like the Fire Festival guy." Artist number 18. I reached out and said, "Did you participate in the Artlanta event?" And this person said, "I did one a couple years ago with him, but not since then. It was cool, wouldn't do it again. The people that go to his events are not art buyers. I did the very first one like a couple years ago. It was just one night. There's just young people wanting to see and be seen." So for an artist who's trying to sell your work, it's not the best event, but as a party, it's cool. They were one of those people that did not have to pay. For 19, I reached out and said, "How was Art Beast? Will you do it again this year?" This person said, "It was difficult. Sadly, I will not be doing it again." And also sent me a voice memo, and they pretty much said that it was just an unlawfully disappointing event, and just the aesthetics of how he handled a lot of that and the admin. There were no contracts. This person said they did not pay the higher price that everyone else paid. They had already entered into one of his art programs, so they had asked him to apply some of that money towards what they paid to discount the fee for the event. They said it just kind of overall, they don't want to use the word scam, but it was in that vicinity. It's a scam. Artist number 20 already. Reached out to this person and said, "Did you like this event? Was it worth paying for?" They said, "I don't believe it was worth $2,500. Did other artists say they got scammed?" I appreciate you reaching out and sharing. We did pay $5K, which was crazy. I personally felt it was bad business and would never work with him again. I didn't sell any artwork either. The show wasn't how I expected it to be, from the setup to the process to the promotion and the crowd that showed up, but it's a hard lesson learned. I appreciate you for doing this. I don't need anything from him, but for those who look up to him or plan to collaborate in the future, should definitely be privy to how he moves to eliminate heartbreak or spending funds they honestly don't have. Luckily, this person's full-time job is lucrative enough that they were able to financially recover, but they note that a lot of these people are truly starving artists. Just 21. I reached out again with the flyer and said, "Did you participate in this show?" This person said, "No, I'm not doing it this year. Last year wasn't all that it worked up to be for me. I'll be going to Art Basel and I may pass by that show to network, but I won't showcase until I see things grow within the event. I didn't have a negative experience, but the price was pretty high. Organization for setup was a little hectic, and the crowd expectancy wasn't met in my eyes. I personally don't pay for showcases. I usually get invited to them. So for me to pay that amount, it felt like something I would go to locally was a disappointment for me. I feel the direction and intention is missing. For me, if the Art Beast event was really catered to the fewer artists and using their platform to put others on, then everything would make sense. But when you have 30 plus artists on the lineup, there's no more exclusivity. It's all hype and no reward. It was my first Art Basel experience. It wasn't Art Basel. So I can't be fully mad, but I will not be doing that again. That's not how you treat people when you've been blessed with a platform and you're curating for the art community. What a shame. Shaking my head. Artist 22. Are you guys getting tired yet? I was already tired at the 5th person. This person replied, it wasn't worth it. They didn't promote it. No one came. 23. I said, did you enjoy this event? Was it worth paying for? And I sent a flyer. The person replied back, no. Scam. Call me whenever, we'll talk. I'm not letting artists get scammed like this. And this person and I did end up talking. This 24. Did you participate in this event? And this person said, I was going to, but I ended up not participating. I said, I hope you bailed out before you paid. And this person said, unfortunately not. Person did end up sending receipts. They have screenshots of their payments and their DMs. Sent me their payment that they made to Artlanta, to Amico Powell. Addressed that payment to Shane R.E. Art Beast fee. There were no big celebs, just social media influencers at the event. A few bigger influencers that were there to support Artlanta. I totally feel you. I'm glad you're exposing this. It's frustrating because I was hustled out of my money. 25. I did a collaboration, reached out and said, hey, I'm interested to know about that Artlanta collabo piece and if it is still for sale. And this person said, hey, thanks for reaching out. And I said, did you get your collaboration piece back? They said, nope. And I said, have you tried? And they said, I gifted him one of my pieces and I drove it there. I met him in person. So disappointing. And also said, crazy man, that was money and I'm a single mom. Really nice. Classy. The piece he sent me was also like, he didn't even paint on it and it didn't look like that. It was like superimposed. So messed up too with people like this. I have one word, karma. I don't even want my piece back. Really had me on WhatsApp and would have conversations with me back and forth, and it felt like a scam the entire time. And his work is BS. I should have known. It just makes me so mad that he preys on the false hope of others. Artist 26 went to one of the Art Beast events. One thing, his team was supposed to help with setup and breakdown of our display spaces. That definitely didn't happen. It was weird because the beginning was decent, but as the night went on, it just got strange. Everyone was glued to their iPhones and posing for photos. Not my scene, but some people liked it. Doesn't sound good. Artist 27. This person did a collaboration, said, to be honest, we haven't sold ours, so I doubt it will sell soon. It doesn't seem like he really pushes that. I had to pay too, LOL. Funny you mention it, because he just made a post on his story talking about how he's going to post the collabs. Weird timing. Maybe that's because we started asking around about it. He goes on to say he only paid $1K. He met Artlanta in person and that he was chill. He did it for the networking. He was hoping it would connect him with other clients who may want to work with him, which he hopes is going to help him in the future. But I don't know. I have other friends who know him and also say he's a scammer. Some of the things he's done has sounded sketchy. I definitely wouldn't pay $2,500 though. I would rather stay anonymous, but yeah, I have a friend that bought his Artlanta book and never received it. There's also a rumor that he doesn't do his own paintings. And also is saying that I was the third person to message them about this collaboration because other people felt scammed too. And not gonna lie, 1K isn't much to me anymore since I make a lot now, but I can see why other people felt scammed for real. Artist number 28. And I know what you're thinking, like, are there any people that didn't have a bad experience? We will use this as an example of somebody that did not have a bad experience, but I still want you to listen to what they say. I said, are your collabs with Artlanta still for sale? Did you have to pay up front to work with him? Thank you. And this person said, hey, yes, they are still for sale. It was a collaboration. This is an example of somebody that did a collaboration with him, but did not sell the piece, but doesn't really have a complaint because they were able to keep the collaborations in their possession. And they also claim that they did not have to pay him. One person that was persistent enough, put enough heat and questioning on him, and ended up going to his sponsors because they were not having success getting out of the show and getting their refund back as promised. They were sending emails directly to Artlanta and to his sponsors, just trying to get their refund because they were no longer attending this event. This person had a written and signed contract. This person had a copy of that email request and said, "This is the third time I have requested by email." He has responded with, "You can't pull out of a show 1 month before." According to the contract, she had every right to pull out of the show at any point in time. Let's take a look at the contract. This artist agreed to pay $2,500 up front. Number 11, termination. Either of us shall have the right, forthright, and without further notice to terminate this agreement by written notice to the other upon the occurrence of any of the following: a breach or default of the provision of this agreement which was not cured within the period set forth. In the event of a termination, any monies due on the date of termination shall be immediately due and payable. So why are you giving this person a hard time and trying to blame it on them and say that it's because they are not allowed to back out a month before the show? It's an entire month. You had 40 other artists that paid. You had sponsors. You had investors. You make $1 million. Why are you having a problem giving this person back their money? Wouldn't the easy thing to do be to just refund the money? Artist number 30. I reached out to ask about their experience at Arby's. They said, "Hey, I think it's a waste of money to tell you the truth. I should have learned my lesson the first time Artlanta took my money for a collab. Don't believe all that I'm helping artists BS. He's profiting any way he can off artists. He has an event all about himself, splattering cars. Then the next day, he threw a rinky-dink display for us artists who paid $1,500 plus. I had to fight for a tiny space. It's all buddy-buddy. Just my experience, unfortunately. I have no bias, just the facts. Participated in his phony-ass collabo where I paid $1,500 just for him to sprinkle a little yellow in the top corner of my painting. And the big promotion I got was one story, but I will never forget the day because he literally had 36 other stories that day, so it watered mine completely down. Is it really hard to make a post with the collab's name, info, etc.? Then I paid another $1,500 to not even be invited to the first night, which was the real night of his Art Basel. Instead, he tried to cram as many artists as possible into the same place where they were left cleaning from the night before. How hard would it have been to have my painting on display that first night? The same night he promised everyone Kim Kardashian was coming too, but never did. The next day, he bragged on his story about how to make $30K in one night off of the hard work of starving artists who spent a fortune from all over the country to go. The dude is a clout-chasing fraud who will say yes to any and every opportunity to be famous. But that's not what art's about, and helping people shouldn't come with a price tag that can break them so early on. IP should be promoted a few times a year at least, though. I paid him, for crying out loud, and I'm the one who painted it all. But the dude is all about self. That's why it's cringe when he says, "I'm helping artists all over the world," but forget to add that he charges them, and "I'm the greatest artist that ever lived," or when he posted, "I can steal your girl and take her to see the world." Sounds like a real humble guy to me. LMAO. Agreed. I used my last dollar in the bank at that time to what I thought was investing in myself, but it hurt me to the point I lost a lot of my confidence in my art. He told me originally my painting will easily sell for $30K. Total BS. And then he sent a bunch of screenshots of him talking to Artlanta directly. Looks like he replied and said, "I saw your post about collabing. I'm an artist in South Florida. Let me know the details. I will collab." And he replied back, "Yo, I really like your work, so I'll only charge $1K for our collab. My collabs are usually $10K and up because my pieces sell so high." So, okay, I can do the $1K for the collab. Let me know the details. Later does a piece, sends it to Lana, who replies that it's insane and that he killed it and it's his favorite collab so far. Then shows me screenshots of where he's lured into the spot for Art Basel, and Lana's claiming there is one spot left. It's $1,500 for the spot. Zells the money to Lanta. 3001 sent a flyer for Arby's and said, "Would you do it again? Did you sell anything?" And this person said, "I was one of, I think, 2 people that sold that year. I always recommend people showcasing work in front of big crowds, but never rely on someone else's crowd to meet your sales expectations. I haven't done it since." He also had a different structure that year for pay and whatnot, but he does pull a legit crowd. You just need to expect only to sell to your own people, as I did. So this person also did not pay. Let's also make that clear that this is a response from someone who didn't lose any money, who didn't lose a painting, who didn't suffer really a loss. I sold a print and an original to a collector, people I knew, but yeah, then I had to break off a percentage for sales. So it sounds like that was the year that there was commissions. The people that bought my work were indeed collectors that I invited. As far as speaking on details or opinions, I don't really care to get into all that. It's not really my place to speak. I have my theories on things, as many people do. He's never done me wrong, but I also would consider myself intuitive of the business at this point. The year I did it, it was free. It was his first year experimenting, and I just paid a commission on my sales. The following years, he had charged artists ahead of time for representation, I believe, just as most other Basel events do, which is why I never did it again. But that method of logistics is not uncommon for Basel events with emerging artists. I will never pay to be a part of anything again, hence no return to his art beast. It doesn't sound like they would recommend it when people say it's not my place to speak. To then jump and say, because he's never done me wrong, but I also would consider myself intuitive of the business. Yes, maybe some of these people that he has scammed are not as intuitive. That doesn't prove the point that just because you're intuitive means you didn't get scammed, as to imply that maybe these other people weren't. It doesn't matter if somebody's intuitive or not. That works against the argument for the person who's doing the scamming, because that person actually has the responsibility and the accountability to know better, because they're using that power and they're saying they're in a position to offer you something of value, something that you want, this notoriety, this event that you get to claim to be in alongside other artists like Artlanta. So to say that it's not your place, or also because no one ever did you wrong, you don't really want to get involved, that is a personal thing. That's my own opinion on that, is that if it's not your place though, whose is it? Somebody that knows nothing about it and has never participated and doesn't have any feedback is definitely not in a place to speak on it. So if it's not your place, even though you have that ability and that intuition, you have that business savvy mindset, why would you not be the person to speak out? I really challenge artists who were bigger in this to take a stand and speak out for what's right. You don't have to get scammed to have an opinion or speak out about it or protect other people or to tell the truth. Just because people fell for this, that doesn't mean that they weren't intuitive or they didn't have a business sense or anything like that. People get scammed because the scammer is persistent, reassures them that there is not a risk. They will sell their piece. They will have a good outcome. If this was how he had the structure the first year, and there were people like this artist that sold work and he got a commission, why is he not continuing that structure? Why did he go from a normal, ethical, fair structure to a scammy structure where he's taking money from these people up front and they're suffering losses? I understand also to the point that this is Art Basel and that some shows do charge money. What makes it a scam or not a scam is, where is the money going? Do the people that pay get out of it what they're supposed to get out of it? And usually other shows for Basel, they do get something out of it. They get the staff, they get an event at Basel, and they get sales, and they get exposed to collectors, and they get media coverage. They get what they pay for. You see where the money goes. That's what makes it not a scam. It's not really a comparable thing to say in this case scenario that other Basel events charge a fee up front so that his is not scammy. The event is never even at Art Basel. Artist and brand number 32. I knew from the beginning the vibes were off, but he just had shit to back it up, and he plays that character so well. What a scumbag. I feel betrayed, but thank you for bringing this to light, and thank you for telling me about it. I want to help you and all the other artists that have become victims of this. P.S. I'm not going to follow you back because I'm sure he has you on his radar, and if he sees I follow you, he might get suspicious. I might very well be his most recent victim. Genuinely want to help. I don't expect anything in return. If anything, I just want to help the people that he's already scammed and the people that I may have brought into this by working with him. The reason that I wanted to read this message out is because I want to show an example of what an ethical business person does. This is the right response, in my opinion. This is somebody stepping up, seeing the flags, seeing it for what it is. This person is not somebody who's not intuitive. This person is not somebody who doesn't understand business. This is one of the people who's actually a very legitimate brand and creator across all of his platforms. And I just wanted this to set the example of what I think a responsible, ethical business person would do when something like this is brought to their attention. I will go on and read more of what this person said. Agreed, artists are not ones to be with. I'm not necessarily the best artist. I don't know if I could even call myself one, but all my friends are. I used to host a live stream where I would interview artists every week. My closest friends are artists, and it's the community that I found comfort in. Artist 33, somebody who bought into the collaboration and had some collaborations go missing into the ether, as with everyone else. I asked this person if he was able to get his pieces back, and he said, I haven't asked him for the painting back or to see if he still has it, figuring out the best way to approach that. I haven't said a word to him. I wouldn't want to out you or anyone else or even mention any of this to protect everyone, of course, but wondering the best way for me to navigate this going forward since he has $2,000 plus of my money. This person continued to, like most people, follow what he was still doing, still trying to stay in connection with him so that they can maybe have some chance of recovering what they've lost. He's out of his mind. Just this week, he's been posting, DM me looking for 10 artists for collabs, looking for artists for Artlanta experience in December, and buy tickets for my Dodge Challenger giveaway car. All scams. My blood boils every time I see an Artlanta post. He's thriving seemingly, and it makes zero sense. Karma's a bitch, and he needs to answer for all this and all the shit that he's done and the money he's stolen, on top of the other non-financial damages he's caused to who knows how many people. Artist number 34 also did a collaboration with Artlanta and said things like, I still had a little hope that he would come through. I took a chance to try to get myself more exposure at a time when my art had some momentum, but financially it was hard to justify. It definitely put some burden on my family. So went on to send me their entire DM thread with Artlanta. Artist number 35. This person reached out to me and said, hello, I was referred to you by another artist. He got me for $1,000 when he was promoting a collaboration deal. I have the DMs and text messages and the receipt where I sent payment for the deal. I should have known this. This person had attached screenshots. You can see the pattern and how copy-paste it is for everybody. So Artlanta basically says, I'm looking for 5 amazing artists to collab with. This artist replies, please check out my work on my Instagram account and let me know if we can work together. He posted that twice, got a reply. It was a copy and paste reply from Artlanta saying, I really like your work, so I'll only charge $1K for our collab. My collabs are usually $20K and up because my pieces sell so high. Sounds interesting. Do I get a cut if our piece sells? Artlanta says back to him, you create a piece, send it to me, I'll add my magic to it, and we sell it for $20K plus. We split the profits 50-50. Fire emoji. Person says, sounds like a plan. Can you work with digital art? He says, yes, I can print it out and add my magic to it. You can add your magic to it. You already said that. I'd like the contributions to be fair to justify a 50-50 cut, they say. And Artlanta says, I want you to have creative freedom. Okay, that's cool. When and how do I pay you? And what's the timeline? And he says, I would need the payment locked in before all the spots are gone to secure your spot for the collab because I'm only choosing 5 artists to collab with. Take my money. Take my money. Please sign me up. Sounds good. Are you able to video chat later? I want to confirm you're the same person, not someone using your profile pic to scam people on here. There's a lot of fake profiles on Instagram, so this guy is smart, okay? He's asking the right questions. And Artlanta says, yeah, I can video chat you. They have a video call that lasts 3 minutes. He's so generous with his time. Artist says, payment sent. I'll get something to you next week. And he says, sounds good, bro. Let's get it. This person asks for the email so they can send their art to him when it's done. He doesn't get a reply. So the next day he says, what's up? I sent you an email with a few files. Let me know. He reaches out again a couple days later. Sup, dude? I'm just confirming. I sent 3 separate emails. I want to make sure you receive them. And Artlanta replies and says, I haven't received it. This artist is very apologetic and says, I'm sorry for any inconvenience. I appreciate your patience. Artlanta says, can you text it to me? And he provides his number, and the artist says, I can try that. There's 13 images. It looks like the conversation kind of ends, and then it picks back up after the artist is ignored a couple of times. The artist asks, what's the cost to be part of this year's Art Basel? I'm interested. And of course that gets a reply. And Lanta says each artist pays $2,500 to be a part of it. A part. It's two different words. A part. You can tell you didn't graduate high school. I printed out your artwork too, working on it right now, he says. It looks like the conversation goes dry at that point again, and Artlanta reaches out again and says, yo, what's good? I created a blueprint on how to make $10K a month from selling your artwork. It's only limited to 100 artists, and it's only a $1K for the blueprint. It has all the information in there that changed my life! Exclamation, exclamation, exclamation. How I went from 0 to $2 million in a year. Artist replies back, hey, that sounds like a cool offer, but I'm still waiting for our other deal to be finished, so I know that this is legit. I would like to continue doing business with you because I have a ton of ideas that I believe would be very profitable in the right hand. And Lanta replies back, yes, sir, it will be done this week. Months go by, there's no reply, and this person reaches back out and says, I'm sorry I keep bothering you. I assumed you were a good dude and that you wouldn't treat people this way. Since you have a huge presence on social media, it looks like I just fooled myself into believing that, and now I look like the idiot who wasted $1,000, and I'm watching that guy on the internet I gave it to living his best life. That's why I don't trust folks so easily. Not your problem. Another lesson learned. Best wishes to you. He didn't even deserve that much respect and kindness. He would not have gotten that from me. We're at 35 people. I picked these at random. I could go on. I really wish I could tell everybody's story and give everybody justice. I'm gonna switch over and get to some of the more serious allegations, showing some more receipts, some more DMs, some more screenshots, hear from some other victims directly from their own mouth. I don't mean to leave people's stories out. A lot of the stories you can kind of tell are repetitive. This has been happening for years. Just know that the number of people I talk to, over 100 people.
I really do whatever the fuck I want.
I want to just play some voice memos. 36.
My name is Tanya Van Ufflin, and I'm a victim of Lawal Ezwabe, also known as Artlanta. When I first saw Artlanta's ad about showcasing a limited amount of artists at Art Basel 2024, I jumped at the opportunity. Even though my gut said, who is this guy and why have I never heard of him, my dream was bigger than the fear, so I signed up. Today, 1 year later, I never exhibited at Art Basel, and I lost $3,400. From the jump, this guy was unprofessional. While I was sharing some of my work, he started making inappropriate comments about my feet. Unacceptable! Red flag number 1. Shortly after I signed up, he also started selling an educational mentorship package that I purchased for $900. 2 weeks later, the price dropped to $99. Red flag number 2. This program consisted of videos he made in his backyard, giving terrible pitch deck advice, and didn't teach me anything about the art world. My suspicions only grew every day as the event date approached. Comments started swirling on his page about him not being who he claims to be, so I started diving in, and today I have learned I was just one of many victims, part of a scam, too little for the authorities to care, and just big enough to make a dent in a smaller artist like myself's career and pocket.
Ouch. 37.
Collaboration with Artlanta. I paid $1,000 to collaborate with him. I did the painting, sent it down to him in June, like middle of June. I have gotten no responses back. Two, where, a video of my painting and goes, today's the day that I'm going to work on it. I haven't heard from him since then. I was in that course because I paid my collaboration fee, and at the time, that's when he launched that course. Out of the goodness of his heart, he just put me in the course. It's from my side of things, he has the painting, he has my money. So, I don't want to almost, ruffle the feathers just because, I put the painting down in June. The whole thing was, he'll sell it for us. Start at $10,000. We own 50-50, which I have, a document that says that we both own 50-50. But something that, bothered me was, I paid to ship it down there. Honestly, Ashley, the $1,000, I knew the risk that I was taking doing this. I'm okay losing the $1,000. It's not. I'm gonna be able to have a roof over my head. More of like, this is just kind of like, we're all like, small fish. Take him to court. It's not worth my time and money. His legal name, he wouldn't tell me. He goes, my name's Lanta. I was like, okay, dude, I know.
38.
The quickest summary I can give from July to early mid-November of my experience with Artlanta, it was a very negative experience. I responded to an ad running on Instagram that he was doing about be a part of Art Basel, 15 spots left. Signed a contract with him, which he completely disregarded. There was a portion in there saying that any refund requested would be given within 10 business days. The biggest problem I had with him is that he went back and forth on me multiple times saying, I'll give you half now, half later. I wanted my full amount because in the contract it stated the full amount would be given within 10 days. He was fighting me though, and I agreed on half at the time. He still never sent it. It was just a mess. At that point, it was too far to ask for my bank to do anything as a dispute because it has been over 60 days. Communication was just truly atrocious. It only got worse and worse leading up closer to the event. I tried to get answers of vendor location so I can get lodging. It got to the point to where he was being so secret about it that it started to make me uncomfortable. And I believe at the beginning of November is when he suggested, oh, what if we throw Art Beast with my art event together, which was never what I signed up for. It was to have his show was going to be completely separate from the other show called Art Beast, which he was stating would be highly promoted. Many people would come out and, your art would be seen by many people, and basically was promising that, many eyes will be there to see your work for possible, sales to be made. What I saw online with his art show exhibits more of like an art party from last year's shows where I'm gathering this. It was music playing quite loud. It was dim lighted. People would be gathering for his performance art, quote unquote. He also was giving me unsolicited information of things that he likes in a woman. He tried very slyly to ask for feet pics. Unacceptable! Also saying that he likes nails, and it just made me uncomfortable since that was a business transaction. I really felt like I was kind of stuck in a sense to respond in a certain way because this is literally a business transaction. I paid my money and it just made me feel awful. He got aggressive towards the end because once I was starting to feel uncomfortable with not having a vendor secured and him wanting to merge the events, I asked for a refund, and as the contract stated, I would have gotten it back within 10 days. It didn't even say business day. He completely disregarded that. He tried to negotiate with me. I'll send you 50% now and I'll send you the rest on the 7th. But he moved it to the 6th once he said, oh, this event is going to be merged.
Reviews coming in. These are sounding great. Every single one sounding great. 39.
Situation started out because he offered me a mentorship for $200 and it instantly went on a downhill because I did it. I said, whatever, I'll do it. All I had to do is get you to 10,000 followers. I'm like, what? I'm like, damn, homie, I just paid you $200. So, like, to even progress in this mentorship, if you will, I gotta now spend another $400 on buying a bunch of bots. I can get you there for about $400. He said, basically, I just go to, like, Gary V's page, and I'll go to his followers, and I'll message, like, hey, if you want to commission it better for him, if he can fucking paint people or put, like, dollar signs and crypto and shit on a painting for this next Art Basel, he told me $7,000. Reached out to Shane. Shane said $2,500, and I'm like, well, what's up? What's another artist who, a real fucking, he was in one of the Art Beasts. He's like, man, the dude still owes me money. He's like, I'm not trying to hate on the dude. The exposure, quote unquote, you're gonna get from him is like 75-95% bots. It's all just a facade. Like, remember this other story that he had for Beast? It was like, who's going to be the celebrity guest? Is it going to be Drake or Kanye? Neither of them are showing up. You're just using their name. In some weird way, I don't think it's illegal to say it, but it just doesn't seem right. And you can throw my shit out there. I don't give a fuck about this dude. I don't like what he does to the industry. And I think he's a horrible person. He had gotten another artist, and I had this dude's personal phone number. We had like a 45-minute conversation about all this, but he said, look, like 5 or 10,000 followers or something. Went and took Artlanta's advice. I went and bought some followers. Went and bought like 30 or 40,000 followers. Didn't know that I was instantly going to get them. So I open up Instagram, and all of a sudden I go from 5 to 10,000 to like 40 to 50,000 followers. He's like, dude, I was having an anxiety attack, and what are all my people gonna think? I lost money because, dude, I went and bought some followers too. 100,000 followers, and you got 50 likes on a post. I know it's bullshit. You have to then buy likes, buy comments, buy views on the whole collaboration thing. This is one of his lines too. He's like, normally it's like 2,500, but your art is so good, I'll only charge you 1,000. I was like, no, homie, we're gonna do this 50-50. He doesn't bring anything to the table, but with these fake people think that he's something special because he's got 1 million followers. What's wrong with you? You're no different than one of them artists has one of those collectors that messages me and wants to like pay with check deposit.
40.
One says, says a scam. Legal grade, but the morality aspect, and then in terms of the course, now this is where it goes beyond the morality thing. You purchase a course, right, halfway through the class, and he disappears. And we've all reached out to him, not everybody, there's 20 of us, including me, messaged him, he's ignored it, and this guy Shane, you can interview him and stuff, but he enjoyed doing the class. He was, he did a lot of the section. He actually tried. I reached out to him, and I saw them posting together, and now this event and stuff, so I'm like, okay, maybe they kind of reconciled. I don't know where their business standings are right now. I was under the impression that Shane and Artlanta were at odds, and he was like, look, let me go into the program. I'm like, give me the content at least, like log into the Blackboard, give me the rest of the content, and he didn't have access to it. He's like, let me reach out to Artlanta. He asked him why he's not finishing the course, and he got back to me, and he just said he's not doing it anymore. There was that, and then after that, he started that, he was pushing this other course, Blueprint thing. Did you see that? Stories, and I've seen it. Like, it's basically $100 for the same shit that he was offering in the course that he charged $1,000 for. He's selling a dream. What he's doing is telling artists who are in the early phases of their career, desperate to be successful, hey, pay me this money, I'll explode your career. Give me $3,000, do Basil with me, I'll explode your career. Guess what? They're gonna think that just because their name is on a flyer with a squat for his career, he's gonna be the star of the show. No one gives a shit about anybody. That somebody in the comments came for me and they're like, you're just jealous, something, and I want what I fucking paid for. Of course, he deleted the post, did my comment. So as soon as you start seeing stuff like that, deleting posts, deleting comments, like, you're hiding, the people who already coughed up $2,500, and the other new artists who are desperate for success, how do you shake sense into them and say, hey, this is what's really going on? Not in Art Basel if you're doing something during Art Basel. Part of getting people to realize that by spending the money on whatever it is he's selling, and I'm not talking about a course, like these events or the collab are actually scams. And oh, well, how are these scams? You're doing a collab, people pay for collabs. Yeah, but it's if he promotes it like he should, that's different. If he just takes your money and moves on to the next, and the next, it doesn't do anything to promote. They're going to get defensive when you try to show them the light. The gimmick is, pay me $1,000 and we'll sell your piece for $10,000. So in your mind, you're like, wow.
41.
I was scammed out of $2,500 by an artist named Artlanta. I didn't want to make this video, but I feel like I need to, due to the fact that I don't want other people to get scammed. So I thought it was good to go, because looking at his page, you see all these people, you see all these things, you see the followers he has, and it seems like he has good connection and good networking. Around October-ish, I started to get a little worried because I still wasn't aware of any information. I just knew it was supposed to be December 7th that we were having this show. That is what prompted me to back out as well. And he told me that I would receive a refund after the show. I messaged him stating, hey, like, I'm still waiting for my refund, whatever the case may be. That was on a Friday. I didn't get a response from him probably till like Tuesday, Wednesday. That's what happened, and ever since then, he has not refunded me. Please be aware and do your research, look at them comments, ask people, do whatever you can to make sure the shit is legit and that you are getting what you deserve.
42 and 43.
But clearly, I wasn't the only person that got robbed by Artlanta. He's a scammer, and he's done it to someone else. Just sent me a video over. Check it out. Tell me what you think, but...
Like, my package returned. There is no collab art on this, and it said return to sender. Reason for return is unable to deliver shipment. Very, very interesting. This is the address you sent me.
I reached out a little too late, but hopefully I can catch someone else that might get involved with this. Avoid it. He's fake. He's a liar. Artlanta is a scammer. To me, and to her at least, has stolen our money. If you guys know him, someone talk some sense into him, because he's going to get caught. Karma's going to come catch you.
43.
Honestly, that day was absolutely shambolic. My sisters really had to like manage my emotions that day because I was just feeling them all. Like, he really took advantage of a lot of people, and it was a shame because I spoke to some of the people there, and like you said, it was like their first show. They've put all of their money into it. They've traveled so far, all to just be scammed by this guy, and it was just heartbreaking. I flew over the ocean like to be there in hopes of getting something good. He really sold us snake oil. I don't mind having my voice there. Like I said, I'm happy to talk about this because it's been something that's been weighing on me ever since it all happened. Like, I've been trying to like concoct my own thing, but I just did not know what to do, especially when I'm abroad or if anyone actually cared. I think it's something that is important to talk about, especially to protect like younger artists. It really sucked for me because obviously I lost a lot of money, but at least I was in the financial position to be able to kind of bounce back. But for some other people, like, they really saved up and really put all of like their effort in it.
Are made to clean after homie's party, and it's actually insane. Like, people are cleaning up after him.
Is they thought this is what was gonna, I guess, get them discovered or whatever, but yeah, no, he's a bad guy. Andreas is also a little bad guy. Like, he might be worse than Artlanta himself. Like, I really did not take to Andreas. It literally felt like the Fire Festival of the art industry. He didn't even wait until like the show even ended. He was like in the Soho House before like the whole night was complete.
This person reached out to me, sent me this video.
What's good, y'all? Y'all see this crazy rug? So I'm doing this collab with my boy Eric. About to go crazy. Let's see what we come up.
He sent that to me and said, if you can reach out to everyone and let them know, they can comment. He said, if there's more people, meaning artist victims, bring them to my page, please. They can speak up in my comments. He basically was sending me this video because he had paid for a collaboration that he had been waiting for. He wanted people to be able to have a place to speak up in the comments because you can't comment anywhere else publicly online or Artlanta will block and delete those comments. Here he sent me a screenshot of part of their conversation. Artlanta says to him, now you tweaking. First off, we never agreed to do a collab post. We agreed to do a collab on the rug and sell it. I was only going to do a collab post because I really with the rug, but you act weird as me. Nice. Professional. This person said back to him, I act weird? Bro, you sent over a whole ass video and ghosted. And he said, expletive, I got hella shit I'm dealing with. You're weird AF, expletive. And he said, I know for sure I'm not tweaking, bro. I paid you $500 and sent you a rug, and it's been all poor communication and bullshit ass videos. And Lana said, bet. This guy said, just accept the collab post. So basically, he had to poke Artlanta multiple times to get him to even just do the collaboration that he sent. And then when Artlanta made a video of it, he just sent this artist the video. He didn't post it. The artist posted it and then asked Artlanta to be tagged in a collaboration post, which he did not accept. To this day, Artlanta still has his rug. He hasn't sold it. He's not trying to sell it. If you look for it in the background of Artlanta's stories and posts, he just uses this rug as his own personal item. These are the people that did a collaboration with Lanta in a public gallery where they brought in their own sculptures. He was supposed to paint them and then those were supposed to be sold. I messaged them and they said, hello there, I can answer any questions you have. I asked him about Artlanta and the collaboration and they immediately said, he is a scammer, stay away. We are still trying to reach him. He basically stole the product. We will take legal action very soon. They did message him and he hasn't picked up our calls. Hopefully he will respond and we won't have to go through legal. But yes, he is not an honest man. That I can tell you. If you or your friends are planning to work with him, I won't recommend. He has that art piece crap that he is promoting right now. It seems like many are falling into it. They said we do have pictures and videos of delivery when he is painting from his home from the event. They would make a good Netflix documentary. I can't tell you how many times I've heard that. Things people do for money is just disgusting. We have dealt with many issues, but this one is getting personal. Well, can we stop there? I think we can stop there. These are not the only people. As I said, the first 35 we went through, I picked at random. He doesn't just do this to artists. He does this to anybody who will invest money or give him money for anything. Any person really that he sees a dollar sign, he will go after. If random artist reviews and people's feedback wasn't enough, it's time for me to tell my story. But he wants to know, if all these people have all these stories and these bad experiences, how come we're not hearing about it? And how come we're not seeing anything online? And we're not seeing anybody do anything about it?
Fuck you, you're a fucking bitch.
When I reached out and then I started talking, just to give you an example of why we don't see anybody exposing him, having any type of validation at all. His first contact with me was on Threads. He had reached out to me originally on October 14th, and then 2 days later, I had already posted a public reply to this on Threads where I said, artists, do not fall for the scammer. You should never have to buy in to be invited to an event. And then I tagged Artlanta. After this, I continued to reach out to people, and this is when I was talking to everyone, and he had already started to threaten me. He actually threatened me multiple ways on multiple pages. When I responded to him the first time he reached out to me, invited me to the show, and I had said, no thanks, but hey, I'd love to interview you. I'm going to be making a video on you, and maybe you'd like to give me a statement. At this point, I didn't really have a plan to make a video. I just wanted to see what he would say. And I said, if you would love to have no comment or you need time to prepare for an interview, I'm happy to accommodate you. We can do it over video chat or by phone. Please reach out to me by email if you're interested. If not, I will go ahead with the information I do have and you won't be able to tell your side. Thanks, looking forward to hearing back. So I started getting threats from a secret Instagram page. The first one I got was on October 19th. I have two Instagram pages. I was getting threats from this page to both of my pages, but the first one I got said, we are watching you and your every move. Be careful who you talk about. The Secret Service is real. The next message I got on both of my pages was, just know your page has been reported to the CEO of Instagram, and if you continue, they will have to remove your page. This is information I got from somebody, just letting you know. They have gotten alerts of you constantly harassing people. I replied to these messages. I sent some voice memos and he replied with things like, it's funny until they actually take down your page, and he threatened defamation. He threatened some lawsuits. What's wild is I'm not the only person that got threatened from him by this account. There was at least one other person who allowed me to share their screenshots. This person said to them, I know it's you, just run that bread. And he said, you better watch your back, you f*** up. And he says, you don't know me. And Artlanta says, now you're on my bad side. Your dropout education is really starting to show. This person said, I tried to be right about it. And he said, and this isn't even Artlanta. Bro, first of all, no one asked. And second of all, nothing says it's not you like saying your name, saying it's not you. This person replied, cool, bro. I tried to be decent and nice. I was respectful. And then he replied, but just know we don't play about Artlanta's mama. This person said, I was doing it the right way. And he replied, I seen you comment that shit on his post. And this person said, people want to play. And he said, better watch your head. And this person replied, uh-huh. And he replied, think it's a joke. What's insane about this is yet another artist who paid him for an opportunity and got ripped off. Even crazier, he actually did get my account hacked down, and it was down for an entire month. I was able to get it back up. Turns out he was paying someone to take down Instagram accounts, and I have proof of that. I actually ended up speaking to the person that was doing this. This person was under 18, and they were using a bigger verified account to essentially impersonate me to have my account taken down. My account was officially disabled. He had tried to disable it multiple times, but when he actually successfully had that taken down, it was disabled on November 16th. I was able to get it back up about a month later. I had actually spoken to this person over the phone. Artlanta had paid them $125 to take my account down, and he had paid them to take down numerous accounts in the past, and there was a list of accounts to take down in the future of victims who were currently speaking out at that time. Even crazier, if you can even believe that, days before this, I had gotten an email with a cease and desist letter. It was from Artlanta. He wrote it himself.
I can do it myself.
And drafted it up with Rocket Money, where he wavered in between speaking in first person and third person, acting as both himself and a lawyer. We have to read it. Someone is maliciously spreading false information about me to people in my network, claiming that I engage in unethical or poor business practices. These defamatory lies are being deliberately spread with the intent to damage my reputation and undermine the trust that others have in me and my work. Their actions are a form of harassment, as they are not only misrepresenting who I am, but also trying to create doubt and negativity around my professional reputation without any basis or truth. The false narrative they are weaving is harmful, and it is clear that their goal is to cause personal and professional harm by manipulating others into believing these untruths. Did ChatGPT partially write this for you? I demand that you cease and desist from this activity as soon as possible, and in any event within 7 days from your receipt of this letter. If you do not take action to cease and desist within the given time frame, I will have no choice but to take appropriate legal action against you. I'm still waiting. What are we doing? In the body of this email, it says the email address is from someone named Lanta Blaze. And it says, "Dear, my full real legal name, I'm writing to formally notify you that your recent actions, specifically the spreading of false and defamatory information about my client to individuals within his personal and professional network, have not gone unnoticed. These actions have caused significant harm to his reputation and well-being, and they constitute both harassment and defamation under applicable laws." No, they don't. "As a result, you are hereby demanded to immediately cease and desist from further spreading these malicious lies. Your actions are not only damaging his reputation, but also violating my rights. If you do not take immediate corrective action to halt this behavior, we will be forced to pursue all available legal avenues, which may include filing for a restraining order, seeking damages, and pursuing defamation claims through the court system. Please consider this a fine warning. Any further attempt to harass or defame him will result in serious legal consequences. I trust you will take this matter seriously and cease all defamatory actions. If you have questions or would like to discuss further, you may contact me directly here through email." And then it just cuts off.
Goodbye.
I don't even know who I'm talking to. Who am I talking to? I do have the full email thread of us going back and forth, but it's funny because this email from his lawyer is telling me, "We have proof of you harassing multiple people on Instagram, and we've reported you to Meta." Also went above and beyond to intimidate me, because in this email, he addresses it to my legal name with one of my residential addresses. And I reply back by correcting him and telling him where he can send me a proper letter from a lawyer that is stamped and signed by certified mail. But wait, it still gets crazier. As I looked at this email, I noticed that the contact that this is from had a picture of somebody on it. It wasn't Artlanta. I dropped it into Google image search and I found out that it was actually a real attorney in South Florida. So I reached out to him. This man's name was Josh Weiniger. He is an actual attorney. We went back and forth in emails, but basically what he said was, OMG, that's egregious. This man had no idea who he was. This was a real lawyer that Artlanta was impersonating and trying to use to intimidate me and scare me into being quiet.
Criminally insane!
During all of this, that wasn't the end of it. I was constantly getting spam phone calls, spam texts. I was getting phishing emails, phishing text messages. I don't know if they had released my data or this was them doing this, but all of this stuff started happening around the same time. And prior to this, I have not that kind of history. I don't have enemies. I don't have people threatening me on the normal. I don't have phishing content and people targeting me. This all started happening at this same time. I actually did walk through the steps to also prove that even if people do these things, nothing really happens. I went ahead and made a local police report. That sheriff actually opened a case and relayed all of my information to the police in Miami. Filed a complaint with the FBI. I filed a report with the FTC. All of the steps you should be doing, you're told to do to get resolutions. None of them ever went anywhere. During and after all this, did I ever cease and desist? No, I did not. I continued to talk to people from other accounts, and once I got my account back up, I was back to talking to people back in my inbox doing the same thing. At no point in time did Artlanta ever want to talk to me. I still, as of recording this, I have never talked to him directly. I did send voice memos to him, made multiple pleas for ways to remedy this, to keep this private and make it so that I did not have to do this, but he didn't want to do that. I offered to host charity events with him to give people back their money. I suggested at the very least that he make a private apology to all the victims. He didn't respond to any of that. He kept going on with his life on Instagram, on social media, as if none of this was ever happening, with the exception of posts on his story calling his victims that were beginning to speak. He was addressing it, but he was calling these people haters and saying things like, if you didn't have a community of haters around you, you didn't have any motion, or the haters can SMD, or I legit have people praying for my downfall, but no weapon against me shall prosper.
He's extremely ill.
I'm just gonna start playing some content and we'll start reacting to it. My opinion, all this feedback is my opinion. Do your own research, look this stuff up. Here's a clip he's recycled at least a couple of times, trying to suck people into buying spots at Basel. Oh, 15 spots. 15. Very exclusive. He does things like this a lot. He's creating this sense of urgency around having limited spots. A lot of people may argue that that's a strategic, smart business marketing strategy, but it's also a common scam tactic. That is a red flag. People will use phrases like only a few spots remaining, limited number of openings, or enrollment closes when all the spots are filled. Sometimes people will leverage social proof. They show how many spots are already filled. They'll include testimonies, which I never see here. They just use social media, friends and family, sponsors, and other people to help promote. Just to give you an idea of numbers for Art Beast, in 2024, I found 43 artists. In 2023, I found 37 artists, and in 2022, there were 11 artists. And I would minus 2 of those because in 2022, 2 of those artists were Artlanta and his creative director. If you're wondering how many people would do it again, I was only able to find one artist that ever did that again, and that person did not want to have any of their experience used, so you can weigh that however you want to. Yes, there were a couple people that did not want to speak of the experience. I wouldn't say they had positive things to say. They certainly did not want to come out and defend the event, but there were people that were either friends of his, didn't have to pay, weren't really there to actually show art for whatever reason. Maybe their name was just on the flyer as a friend. The majority of people did not make money. The majority of the people I talked to lost money. Few people that didn't have a negative experience or that didn't want to speak out or that did do the event again have personal reasons why they are okay with it. One of the persons being an example is this person happened to miraculously hustle and sell their own piece for allegedly $10,000. You feel like you have no right and no place to speak out because people will be like, well, this person made $10,000. Why would they complain? It's a bigger issue than just a single person. And just because a person sold a piece, even for $10,000, doesn't mean other people didn't get scammed. It also doesn't mean that that person didn't get scammed. If that person paid a fee for things in writing that were A, B, and C, and they didn't get A, B, and C, that technically is a scam. That's technically fraud. Don't come for me. I am not a lawyer. I'm just a person using my brain and the internet. If you take money and you don't deliver on what you promised, that is technically fraud. This is my opinion. I'm not saying he committed fraud. I'm saying, based on the things I'm showing you and the things that I've heard directly, do I consider him a fraudster? Absolutely. Other question, where's all this media? Where's all this media coverage and promotion and marketing that you promise these people when they pay you money? One flyer and not being able to find these artists, how is that beneficial? How does that help them in the end if they don't even sell anything and they spend a bunch of money? How does that help them in the long run if you have no media and no one can even find out who they are? How does that help their career? It's almost like you don't want them to find each other. A lot of the promotion and the stuff that you're seeing online, if you can find it, the previous art piece, that content is made by other influencers, other creators. Those are people that he invites so that they'll hype the event for him. So he's not even, as far as I can see, not really even using that money for any media coverage. There's one flyer that comes out before, and then the media coverage that comes out after, it doesn't promote the artist. I'm not seeing artist interviews. I'm not seeing the work featured. I'm not seeing any success on behalf of the artist. Another thing that you put in writing and you promise people, you're promising them an Art Basel event. The actual Art Basel takes place in the Miami Convention Center on Miami Beach. The rest of Miami Art Week usually takes place in the Wynwood Arts District and the Miami Design District. Last year, your event took place in Hialeah in a pickleball gym that was 40 plus minutes away from where actual Art Basel is. Tell me how that's okay and you can advertise that this has anything to do with Art Basel. It absolutely does not. In the previous years, it wasn't a legit location either. It's been held in an exotic car garage that people have told me did not have any climate control or air conditioning, and there were problems with that venue as well. Oh, let's watch them pitching one of his mentorships.
What's up, guys? So as you guys know, I just launched the blueprint, and in this blueprint, I will be teaching you guys on how to market yourself and brand yourself as an artist so you can make over 5+ figures per month. I will also be teaching you guys how to get celebrity clients, like how I got Drake and DJ Khaled and all these other celebrities. All this information will be in the blueprint. And all you gotta do is follow the blueprint step by step. And I promise you, you will not fail. You will achieve all these goals that you wanna achieve per month, per yearly, whatever it is that you wanna do. And this blueprint is for 100 artists, and I've already chose 38 artists. So if you guys ready to turn up your career, let's get it.
Wow. How much worse could it get? All the red flags. He's creating urgency. He's putting a number amount on it. He's literally making promises that if you follow his course, you're going to succeed. Outrageous promises. So where are these people? Where are all these people on your label? Where are they? How come I couldn't find them? How come the people I did find all had bad things to say? It just doesn't add up. Can you do math? Mentees that bought into this mentorship have actually told me some of the things they learned. Claiming you have celebrity clients, that implies that these people are seeking you out and commissioning you to paint stuff for them. That's not what I see happening here. I see you lying about who you are, bombarding your way into places and private events that you're not supposed to be at, presenting people on the spot with a gift that you made for them, essentially copying just some photographer's picture and putting it on a painting, giving it to somebody, and then on top of that, you're filming it and exploiting it for your own benefit, and then trying to sell this as one of your steps to success. I'm not saying people aren't buying paintings from him, but the stories about Drake and DJ Khaled, that's not what those appear to be. Teaching people, copying photos, logos, designer brand elements, acting like this is perfectly safe, risk-free, perfectly legal. You're walking them into a lion's den. You're helping them build the shakiest foundation for their career that they possibly could have. You're not teaching any of them about copyright infringement, art laws, derivative and transformative rules. One mentor had sent me a screenshot, had brought up a very good question and a very good point, and asked Artlanta, do you have the rights to copy and draw the things that you're creating? It would be really sad to see you get wiped out with one lawsuit or something to that extent. And he replied with a photo of a piece of art done by an artist named Alec Monopoly. He just said, Alec Monopoly does it all the time. And that's it. And that was part of his mentorship. He's just trying to justify what he's doing. This has been so normalized. Just because he's doing it and getting away with it doesn't mean that it's okay. The way that copyright works is if you take someone's photo or you use someone's brand or you pretend to be somebody or you steal someone's articles, it's up to that person who owns the copyright to come after you. If he were really selling $1 million paintings, that's the level that you get to when the law starts to catch up with you. He may be flying under the radar and doing this, and other artists might be doing this. A lot of other artists could be doing this and actually be within their legal bounds because they're licensing and purchasing the rights to this stuff. But teaching people that you can just hop on the internet and steal a reference photo from another artist is misinforming people and leading them down a road that has more potential to hurt them than help them. He encourages people to buy followers. Once they buy into the mentorship, he encourages them to put in more money to buy followers. And then if they don't do that, he kind of comes back at them and says, you didn't buy the followers, so I don't know what to tell you. And he leaves them with no other options. My opinion, zero value. It's actually negative. You're paying for negative value. I cannot give you legal advice. If you're an artist or you're concerned, consult with a legal team or an attorney that specializes in intellectual property and copyright laws where you live. Just know that at the end of the day, it's up to the courts to decide if you're guilty or not, or if somebody else is guilty or not of stealing from you. So if you want to roll the dice on your career, that's up to you. But selling a mentorship where you don't inform people of those rules and those laws and those facts is incredibly unethical. If you are going to choose to follow these types of strategies, painting likenesses of people where you're painting cartoon characters, using things out of pop culture to make your art and build your style, get your own legal advice and look into that, because you may think what you're doing is okay, only to find out one lawsuit could wipe your entire career. Understand the way that fair use and parody laws work, because a lot of people will say, no, it's parody, no, it's fair use. That's not for you or anyone else to decide. That's for the courts to decide. Nobody wants to even get to that point where you find yourself in court if you can prevent this with just a little bit of knowledge. Do not take mentorships from people like this. Do not take advice from people like this about your art career. This person has no idea what he's doing. This next little clip here particularly gets me heated as an artist. If you think that he has ethics or is so creative that he wouldn't copy a photo and that he came up with these ideas that he creates on his own, look at this video. The caption says, "When you have a vision, execute it." And as you can see, he is clearly painting this very distinct blue and yellow painting on a canvas of what appears to be Bart Simpson exploding. This is a painting that was created back before 2015 by an artist named Matt Gondek, and many people have copied this painting. Artlanta is one of those people. He copied it to a T, and not only that, he reproduced it and made posts where he was selling prints of this. He literally copied another artist who was bigger than him, claimed this design to be his own, sold it, recreated it, and sold prints of it, and is acting like he's the visionary behind it. Here's one of his videos that carries so much weight. I love it so much. By love it, I mean I absolutely effing hate it. Video he posted with the caption over it shows him surprising his mom with a car, allegedly a house. He did post this many places with the caption, "Bought my mom her dream house and dream car today. Happy birthday." This was posted on August 1st. He didn't buy this house. He didn't buy your mom this house. According to public records, this house is not owned by him or his mother or anyone with his last name. This house also was not sold during that time. There was no history of sale in August of 2024. There is a history that the house was rented. One of the first places Artlanta lived in when he moved to Miami was a penthouse sometime in 2023. According to unicourt.com, a company called DT Residential North LLC and DT Residential South filed an eviction against Artlanta on March 24th. Filed in Florida County Courts, Miami-Dade County Courthouse in Florida. Residential eviction. You can't get evicted from somewhere that you bought. Posted to his own Instagram for motivational purposes only. At 25 years old, I went from homeless to buying a 10,000 square foot mansion in LA. He's giving us a tour of it. That's the same house that you put on the cease and desist letter. There's no proof you ever bought that. To say for motivational purposes only, what does that mean? What difference does that make? Does that make it ethical for motivational purposes only and then to make a fake claim about buying the house? How are you motivating anybody? You're just lying, just being deceitful with the intent to make yourself look successful so that you can sell your courses and your opportunities. We're going to watch a couple of clips talking about another house he lived in Miami.
What does this house go for?
1.3.
1.3.
Yeah.
Square feet?
3K.
3K.
Yeah.
It's a nice crib.
I'm actually about to get a new crib, man.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Everybody in Miami always getting a new crib. We do a video, and then they get a new crib the next day.
Artwork in the crib is worth more than the crib.
This is fire. So this is all you. What you pulling like a month?
Over 6 figures.
Over 6 figures. Okay, I feel it. I love that.
Currently, at the time of this video, you're making 6 figures. I don't care if it's 6 figures a month or a year. How come you're getting evicted? You got evicted from this house too for specifically not paying rent. These evictions are not alleged. These are public record. He really did get evicted from multiple houses that he claims he owned. This specific eviction at this house, there's another tenant listed on this eviction by the name of Karen Beppu, which happens to be one of his on and off long-term on and off girlfriend's mother. To me, it appears that because his girlfriend's mother was not living with them, it appears that he had to have someone co-sign with him so that he could get this place, and he roped one of his girlfriend's moms into this, she has the eviction on her record now too. As it happens when you get evicted, you need to go live somewhere else. Let's watch this video of the house he moved into after this.
You guys, look at my house. Look at this house. This is my house. I did this myself at 28 years old. You know what I'm saying? Anything is possible, yo. You can accomplish whatever you want to accomplish in this life. Stop making excuses. This is my front yard. It's 2 acres. This is my home, you guys. This shit is possible. Anything is fucking possible. You can accomplish whatever you want to fucking accomplish, guys. You're just not doing the work. And you're not putting God first. You gotta put God first before anything. I give God all the glory. You know what I'm saying? But use your fucking brain, you guys. Use your brain.
I don't have enough opinions and words for that. Absolutely, in my opinion, repulsive, disgusting. If you're failing, it's because of you. You don't have the right mindset, the right motivation. You're not manifesting properly. You're not quantum leaping. These buzzwords, this is getting into scammer, life coach, fake credentials. I'm going to teach you how to live because I'm pretending to show you success. He didn't buy this house either. Where it gets into one of the biggest, craziest issues for me. And I know you're sitting there thinking, yeah, it can't possibly get any worse. How could someone be this bad? He gets a lot worse than this. This particular house, he just recently moved out of. When he moved out of this house, I was in contact with the landlord. This happened suddenly. He was not supposed to leave. He was supposed to renew his lease, allegedly. He decided last minute that he wasn't going to do that. Before you defend him and say, well, maybe he had a family emergency, maybe he needed to leave, maybe there was a reason. He spent the entire weekend at the horse races with one of his girlfriends. He posted about it on his story nonstop. He had plenty of time. The landlord gave him days and opportunities to go back into the house and clean it out and reclaim anything that he wanted to take. They found in his garage all the collaboration pieces that these artists that I talked to had paid him to do. There were boxes of collaborations that were not even open. These artists had paid him for a collaboration. He took the money and never even opened some of these. Some of the collaborations he never even did. Some of them he did and he just hung on to. I was never able to find somebody that had a good experience buying into the collaboration. And I didn't talk to anybody that sold their piece. And he knew these people were trying to get their pieces back. Some of these people had bought into collabos years ago, and he just let these pieces sit in his hot Miami garage. And when he moved out, he literally left them there for the landlord to throw them in a dumpster. A few more things. Y'all remember that Trump article? No, you don't, because that was never written. That was copied, plagiarized, and circulated as fake news by Artlanta himself. And there was a follow-up article from The Observer to clarify that they never wrote that article. Another artist creator that I did not mention her story yet has an active lawsuit out against Artlanta right now. He swindled her out of $20,000 under the guise that she was investing in an Art Beast event, only to find out that that was not the case. She doesn't know where the money went. She's still trying to get it back. He currently owes her $40,000. He's only paid $4,000 of it. And he also claims that he had to get the money for her out of his Trader's domain account, which ended up being a giant Ponzi scheme that was run by Great, the partner of his in Wave Pop, whose dad started this Ponzi scheme. This person had an entire loan contract. All it said was that she was loaning him $20,000 and he was to pay her back a set amount in March. Entire text thread here, and I just want to point out some of the craziest things that he said to her. He tries to say things like, man, I'm not making any money from this event. We didn't sell any tables. Sends her a screenshot of what appears to be a bank account balance. It says he has 77 cents. He said, I told you I'm not a bad person. This is my bank account right now. I just even sent the screenshots of my mom. Why? You're almost 30-year-old grown man. Why? Why are you sending that to your mom? Are you trying to make your mom feel bad for you to get money out of her, or do you owe her money too? I understand. I didn't put your money into Trader's Domain. I used it for the art show, but I didn't make any money, so I withdrew the money out of my Trader's Domain account to pay you back. You did withdraw it? So where is it? What's the problem? Did you withdraw it or you did not? I invested over $200K in the event, but didn't make any money back. And that's the only reason why I'm taking it out of my Trader's Domain account. That's where I have all my money. So all your money's in Trader's Domain account? You're a millionaire and you have all of your money in one Ponzi scheme. Calm down. Calm down. Calm down. All my money is stuck right now. I had to borrow money to pay rent. It may look like I have it right now, but I don't. Ask Ziggy. He will tell you. I'm not a bad person. I'm not going to run off with nothing. First of all, why would we ask Ziggy? He's in it with you. He's doing the same stuff with you. He's right there with you and great. And y'all are up there sucking from the MLM teats and the Ponzi scheme teats. What are you talking about? He's not trustworthy either. Why would we ask him? A lot as well. It might not look like it on social media, but I am. Oh, I'm sorry, but if I have my phone on Do Not Disturb, I don't have any money right now. For people I owe that invested as well, but they understand that I'm not going nowhere. They are going to get their money. I'm going through so much. My phone is on Do Not Disturb. I'm not doing it on purpose. It's your phone, right? Disturb button on and off. It's that simple. I owe like 5 people. What else do you want me to say? A whole nother artist that bought into a collaboration deal sent me an entire text message thread and DM thread and I believe a WhatsApp thread. I'll show some of those. I can't show the whole thing because it's very long. This person bought into a collabo and a mentorship. She ended up making the collaboration. She went to Artlanta's house to deliver it to him in person. The entire time, Artlanta, he crossed the boundary lines of professionalism and started coercing and soliciting sexual things from this woman, trying to entice her into a relationship, but she was very clear about where her boundaries are. When she went to deliver the painting to him, she was very uncomfortable. He was making comments about how he wished they could have spent more time together, but she said she didn't realize that he had a whole ass girlfriend living with him. He told her things like she didn't need to worry about that and it was up to her. She left the painting with him. She has pictures of that. Went through the same collaboration process with him, waited months, never heard from him. It turned into years. The mentorship didn't go anywhere because whenever she would ask for mentorship, he would not give that to her. He would only respond to sexual and personal types of comments. She asked for her piece back multiple times and then said that she would like to have it hung in Art Beast because it hadn't been sold yet. And she said, why don't you hang it up at Art Beast? That way, if we sell it, we can both make money. He said, I'll make your dreams come true if you make my dreams come true. And she said, what is your dream? And he said, I don't know if I can say this or not. I might have to put up emojis. By you.
Oh my God!
And she said she was not comfortable with that, and he ghosted her. And she basically said, so there's no other way you'll hang up my work. And she got no response after that. She did luckily end up getting her piece back after she reached out to somebody who was acting as Artlanta's manager at this point. And they didn't even show up in person and return her piece to her. They sent it to her in an Uber. And she was able to finally recover it. Basically started treating her like a crazy girlfriend. She basically started saying things like, are you too busy these days to mentor? If so, it's cool, but don't rip people off. Highly annoyed that you're blatantly disrespecting me at this point. If you're too busy to mentor, just give me my money back. One day my opinion's gonna matter to a lot of people. You need to be a little bit more professional for real, bro. This isn't cool. And he replied to all that with, can you chill? I'm in a meeting right now. She kept messaging him and she's like, what's up? In February, nothing. March, hey, we work together, remember? How's the piece looking? You got to treat everyone you work with equally, not just the big names. June, you think we could put our piece in Art Basel? Nothing until August 23rd. And he says, I'm going to be in Naples tomorrow. As soon as he's in the physical vicinity and can get something physical out of this person, that's when he reaches out and responds.
Men are dogs. Oh, it's so funny. Oh, it's so funny.
Lastly, we're just going to rattle off some DMs of conversations that he had with a bunch of other artists. These are people's stories that I had not even mentioned. A lot of these people are keeping their evidence private in the hopes that we do finally get a class action lawsuit. Strange, this person paid for a mentorship. They made a payment to Amico Powell. Artlanta says this is his accountant's Venmo. It's not. This is one of his on and off long-standing girlfriends. This person even sent receipts of them trying to process a refund. You requested $1,030 from Amico Powell for the class mentorship Artlanta refund because those classes ended. Like, this is a family thing. So you do this with artists, and Ziggy does this in the music industry, and apparently your little brother does this to help people start their clothing brands. This person said, Artlanta's little brother robbed me of $1,000 after inviting me out to LA to help start my clothing brand. What is wrong with you? What is wrong with your family? Why do you guys think this is okay? Another screenshot that was sent to me, bro, that's how it is. All the money you sent already went towards the event and getting the venue. You'll get your money back when I'm able to get the money from Eventbrite for ticket sales. We are cool, bro, but it's just business. Is it? Do you know how to do business? Do you know that there's a line between business and pleasure and being professional and ethical and not? Do you know those standards? It doesn't sound like you do. This is not business. You're being an idiot. Here's a person who tried to participate in Art Beast. They sent $1,250 up front. They were going to make 2 payments. Artlanta was fine with that. He continued to hound this person for the other half of the money. At one point, the person said, no excuse, but to be honest, I got attacked by a dog very recently. I had a less than 10% chance of keeping my arm, my dominant arm. He explained why he's been off, and Artlanta really didn't say anything other than, wow, bro, I'm glad you made it out. They didn't talk again until Artlanta reached out to him and asked him to be part of Art Basel. He reached back out again as if he didn't remember that this person already paid half up front. And he continued to harass him for the money again. And the guy said that he really needed to back out. It wasn't going to work out. Can you send the half of the money back? And this person, it doesn't look like they ever got their money back. Here's another artist who also had to back out of the show early for their own personal reasons. This person is a family person with children and a spouse. And they were just waiting patiently for the day after the event for their refund. And Artlanta ended up reaching out to him and saying, bro, just to let you know, you are not allowed in the event on December 6th. If you show up, it'll be trespassing. So he started threatening this person. And so this is how he treats people that start asking other artists and other people about if they got a refund or not. Further proof, he said, I'm going to file a cease and desist on you and also a defamation of character case. You keep messaging people that I'm a scam artist. And this person said, who have I messaged? And he said, don't act stupid, bro. You know what you did. This is crazy that this is how you talk to people that you have their money. And this person said, I haven't bothered you. I agreed to the first half you reimbursed me, and I'm patiently waiting the other half you promised to reimburse in writing on December 7th. I do not plan to speak to anyone about you. As far as I'm concerned, I have no issue with you as you are holding up your end of the refund on December 7th. As far as I'm concerned, I have no want or need to speak to you or anyone else again regarding this issue once I get my final refund. Here's another example. Somebody said, hey bro, I'm getting kind of worried. I haven't got a response back at all about any of my questions or concerns. This is somebody who was waiting for information, who had bought into Art Beast. The show is in 2 weeks away and I'm unable to make final preparations without knowing really anything at all. For $2,500, I figured I'd be more in the loop and I'd be advertised correctly. Get back at me, please, and thank you. And he says, my bad. I've been getting so many messages lately. 1 second. And then he gives an address and he says, trying to confirm setup time with them. I want to get as early as possible. You say you start planning this the day after the event ends, and you're telling people that you can't refund their money because it's tied up in the venue, but then you're saying you're trying to confirm the venue. Meanwhile, you're doing all this individually in DMs. How come you don't have an email newsletter going out? How come you don't have something to join all these people together, like a group chat like the one you had for the models where you were bribing the models? Oh yeah, I forgot, he bribes models too. He had a chat group going on Telegram, and he was bribing artists and people in that group for comments and hype. Was telling people they could enter to essentially win a spot to model his clothing line. He picked a bunch of models. That never happened. He was putting posts in there like telling people the person who comments the most will get $100. What? Here's yet another person's DMs that participated in the Art Beast event. And when they reached out to him after the fact to try to address it, this is some of how that went. He said he gave artists the opportunity to showcase their work, and he put his all into this event. And this person said, you were only there for 45 minutes. We paid $2,500 plus travel and hotel and walked into a trashed venue, which we had to clean up. And he said to that, everyone in America always wants to see a black man fail. Yeah. He said, I'm used to this. I was exhausted from my event the night before. I was there for 2 hours. This person's basically trying to hold him accountable, and he's defending himself. He's saying things like, we sold 1,000 tickets. Everyone that was supposed to come was hungover from the day before. I don't have any control over that. He said, you can keep bashing me if you want. At this point, I'm used to it. It's okay. It's not my control what you sell and don't sell. I can't force people to buy art. Wow, that story's really changing, considering the promises you made before you got this person's money. And he's just trying to dismiss her and says, okay, have a nice day. I don't know what you want to get out of all this, but all I hear is nonsense. And this person said, that's very rude. And he said, yeah, because you're just like everyone else bashing me. So when he's telling people like, oh, the haters are coming out for him, this is what he's talking about. This is an example of what he considers a hater, someone who paid and is just trying to give him feedback about how they didn't have a good experience. This person said having feedback on a professional event, that's not bashing. You probably should care much more about the feedback of the artists that put their trust into you. And he says, you want me to give you professional feedback about your art and see if that doesn't hurt your feelings? Sometimes people forget I'm human. You don't know what I have to go through every day. And I acknowledged it myself. I'm not entitled to let the world know. Again, go back to school. The word you're looking for is not entitled. It's obligated. And yes, you are. Professionally speaking, you are. He says, if only people knew what I had to go through every day. I get so much hate and DMs and death threats. So when people come at me like how you did, I feel like all of you are the same and totally forget I'm a human being just like you. I get treated the worst and nobody cares about my feelings. They think everything is okay because I'm rich and famous. I do have my thoughts. I know 2 hours seems like a lot, but I did not even chip away at the tip of the iceberg of what this man does. I think he's absolutely disgusting. I think this is one of our industry's biggest nightmares. Do I think everything that he does is a scam? Absolutely. I think he's one of the biggest scammers that I've ever seen. Plays this story of homeless to millionaire to get you to give him money to learn how to do that when really he never did that himself. Do I think it's a coincidence that right when he happened to become successful and he met Great, that he just got lucky? No. I think that because Great and his family and his dad come from a bogus history of MLM businesses that one after another continue to collapse after they take everyone's money. Do I think that he was successful from hard work? No. I think he teamed up with a best friend who was a Nepo kid, whose dad was one of the biggest scammers in the network marketing industry. And they try to hide it and claim that they don't take any handouts and that they work super hard. The only reason Wave Pop ever even had any success at all was because they were backed by an MLM.
This nigga changed my life. Without this nigga, I wouldn't be here.
Could it be maybe that your entire career and everything you portray is spun in a way that you're almost like a magician.
What that mean? Make magic or something?
You're having people look at one thing, but the reality is you're just tricking them. I think that's what it is. I think that's all you do. I think that's all you've ever done. I think all these people that say, you know, he really could just do this legitimately, I don't think you can. I think you don't have the education, the expertise, the experience. You've never had a real job. I don't think you know how to work as a team. I don't think you know how to be a boss. I don't think you know how to be an employee. I don't think you know how to take direction from people, communicate, cooperate. I don't think you know how to do anything but scam. I don't think it is within your ability to do things the right way because you don't know how. It seems easy to everyone else that knows how to do legitimate ethical business because it's like all you have to do is just use the money and the clout to do things right. But you don't know how to do things right. You never have had to do things right. So how are you going to know now? I personally think you are a mentally ill person and you need help. And I pray that your church and your community reaches out to you and gets you some help. I don't understand how you could not be socio or psychopathic and do this to people and then have them bring it to your attention and then you're still able to attack them and go on about your life like you're some successful big hotshot and you have all the secrets to life when you absolutely do not. I do not necessarily plan on doing any follow-up videos. That doesn't mean I'm not open to it. I am planning on doing a commentary reaction video on Spencer Cornelia's. If you have not seen Spencer's video yet, please go over to his channel and watch his video on Artlanta. Thank you so much to Spencer. If there are any attorneys who are willing to take on this case for the artist, please reach out to Spencer. If you want your story told, reach out to me. I am absolutely open to doing more videos on this. If you guys want me to tell more of your stories, please leave your comments, questions in the comments below. I will be happy to address those. Thank you for watching.